Hey everyone, and welcome back to my only song review of the day, because I can't be asked to do the others. From Five Finger Death Punch, Lamb of God, and MGK. I just can't be bothered to do those ones. But anyway, this is my review of the album Scoring the End of the World by Motionless in White. So this is coming, I have been mega hyped for this album throughout the whole of it. I'm a massive fan of the band, and I've never given an album by them a 10 out of 10 though. Like, the highest they've ever got a 9, which they got on Graveyard Shift. But there was like one or two songs that I wasn't a huge fan of. This album is kind of going a bit heavier than the previous one, Disguise, but it keeps that octane core sort of sound. Chris's vocals are savage and melodic at the same time, as always. Like, he got really good cleans. This also sees the vocal introduction during an album. Like, Ricky's got vocals and Justin's got vocals. I think Justin does vocals on Broadcasting from Beyond the Grave. Corpse Nation, which is a sequel. He also does vocals on We Only Come Out at Night, I think it's called. I've only listened to the album once so far, and I am coming directly after finishing it. And Ricky, I think's got vocals on the title track and what's it called? Cause of Death. I really enjoyed this. This is easily going to be one of the best releases of the year. I don't think there's going to be debate around that. But we've had Cyberhex. It starts off kind of with a more heavier sort of song called Meltdown, which is more of a heavier sort of song. And then you've got Sign of Life, which is kind of a slightly softer song, but it's still kind of heavy. Then we go on to this sort of melodic sort of phase of the industrial song, like kind of more of an industrial style song called Werewolf, which Chris said is one of his favourite songs on the album. Chris is the vocalist, for those that don't know. Then we go on to Porcelain, which is more of an emotional heartstring tugger, as I always love to call them. And it was good. And we go straight from like one of the least heavy tracks on the album to probably the heaviest song Motionless in White has ever made. Slaughterhouse featuring Brian Garris, the vocalist for Knock Loose. Now, I love this track so much. It's just pure anger. It's what I need. It is just pure anger. I love it. It is such a good song. Brian, absolutely phenomenal. Then we move back on to more of an emotional song called Masterpiece, which Chris, I think, said was very personal to him. And like it's an emotional song. Like, it genuinely sounds like Chris is emotional in it. It's probably one of Werewolf and Masterpiece are probably in his top vocal performances, clean wise, of all time. Like, he's been phenomenal with that. And then I think we move on to... I need to quickly just check the track list. Be right back. There we go. Right. The album's received very positive reviews from critics. Then we move on to Cause of Death, which is kind of more of a octane core song, as I always love to call it. Because it's a very solid track. Ricky comes in at the end. Then we have We Become the Night, which... I mean, you get to hear Justin Morrow's vocals. It's insane. Like, the dude, if anything, to me, with his clean singing, sounds a bit like a B-Tech Spencer Charnas. Like, I'm not even kidding. He sounds like... I mean, he was in Ice 9 Kills, but he sounds like a B-Tech Spencer Charnas, which isn't an insult at all. It's actually a high compliment. Because Spencer is a phenomenal vocalist. And Justin's a very good vocalist. I was surprised. Then you've got I think it's called Burned at Both Ends 2. Really solid track, as always. Yeah, oh god, very solid track. As always, it's absolutely incredible. Yeah, absolutely incredible track. I don't think there's any argument this is a very good track and an excellent sequel. Also, We Only Come Out at Night, I found out was a sequel, I think, to America, which is from their infamous album, just like the other one. Wait, what disaster did I get? I wasn't paying attention. Oh, bro, we got the Giants. Let's go. But for those that don't already know, the next track was Corpse Nation, I think it was. I think it was Broadcasting from Beyond the Grave, Corpse Nation, which is a sequel to Broadcasting from Beyond the Grave, Death Incorporated, which is kind of like this Scooby-Doo song. Like, they can't deny this is directly referencing that, and I grew up on Scooby-Doo, it was amazing. But this, I think, Corpse Nation is probably my favourite song on the whole album. It's just so good, and you can see during the verses, at least during the first verse, I think, you see Chris and Justin are just interchanging their screams, and it is so good! It's amazing! Oh my god, like... And then we move on to Cyberhex, which is probably the most well-known song off the album. Which is kind of like this industrial... It almost sounds like something that should be on the Doom soundtrack. To me, it sounds like something that should be on that soundtrack. And then we got two songs left. We got Red, White, and Boom. This song gave me huge Marilyn Manson vibes. Also, credit to Lindsay Schoolcraft for some additional vocals on Corpse Nation and Cyberhex. Credit to her for that. She did an amazing job. As always, of course. Oh, I couldn't kill them, damn it. Okay. Yeah, so Red, White, and Boom has Caleb Shomo in it. And he does a very good job because he comes in at the breakdown. And his screams are very good. Like, I didn't expect these sort of screams from Caleb. But they are very impressive. Fair play, Caleb. Well done. But I expected him to come in for the breakdown, though, because that's what Caleb does. Caleb, of course, is the singer for Beartooth, who are like a hardcore band. Very good group. But, like, this song gave me massive Marilyn Manson vibes. It sounds like something that should be on Marilyn Manson's album from 1999. It sounds like it should be on that. But if you turn up the hardcore punk and the metal a little bit. And then finally we end on the title track, which has some Ricky vocals on the outro. Love you, Ricky. Brilliant job. And this features the guy who actually made the Doom soundtrack, Mick Gordon, doing some of the, quote, additional instruments. I'm not sure what that means, but there we go. But yeah, it's brilliant. Absolutely phenomenal job. And I really enjoyed Chris's vocals on this. They're very good. Overall, what would I give this album? I've never done this for a Motionless in White album before, but 10 out of 10. You heard that right. 10 out of 10. Like, this is the first Motionless in White album to get a 10 out of 10 from me. There's nothing wrong with this album other than I'd maybe like a bit more Justin and a bit more Ricky. But then again, Chris is the lead vocalist. He's the leader of the band. He decides what's going down. But just bro is all I have to say. But yeah, fair play. Well done. I almost got hit with a meteor. Jeez. Yeah. Well done. Round of applause for Motionless. This album is definitely one of the best albums of the year. Like, it's up there with Voyeurist by Under Oath, which I gave a 10 out of 10 as well. before I started making videos on this. But yeah, that is it for this video on Motionless in White's Scoring the End of the World. I hope you all enjoyed this one. Please consider subscribing. I'll be doing some more music reviews in the future. I've got a Devil Wears Prada album and a From Ashes to New album coming up. I think their new single's out next week. I'm not sure. Yeah, that's it from me. Please consider subscribing, as I'm aiming for 100 by the end of the year. Please consider liking the video, maybe sharing it with one of your mates who's into metal. I know you probably are just like every metalhead and has literally no friends that are into metal. Mostly a bit like me, but there we go. Anyway, that's it from me. I'll see you all later. Yeah, see ya.